everyone. Good to
Hello.
see you.
Hello, hello.
Farmcraft time. Today is food for thought. Anastasia, no pressure, but it's up to you to make us all so smart by the end of this hour.
Oh boy. Wow.
So I am Claire Laveau. I am the Director of Communications at NASEF, the North America Scholastic Esports Federation. And we are gathering with this illustrious group of experts to talk about farming and agriculture and let you know a little bit more about our Farmcraft competition that we're in the middle of. So let's go ahead and do some quick introductions. I'm going to toss it to Kathy to start today.
Yay! Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Chow-Isaacs, and I am a global Minecraft mentor and part of this awesome NASEF Minecraft Challenge team. So psyched to be here. I do love farms. I love wind turbines, and I love farms. I guess one of the things I've shared in the past is when we're driving, I just love seeing farms and all the machinery and try to figure out what the system is. So yes, this is a great topic for me. I love it. I love learning here. So whose turn is it? Spin the wheel, spin the wheel. Wait, that person. There, Adam.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adam Cornish. I work in the Department of State for the U.S. government, particularly in the Office of Agricultural Policy. If you've been on any of these streams before, you've already heard this spiel, so I'll keep it short. I will jump off of Kathy's point just a little bit. And Kathy, anytime you want to do a road trip with me back home to Michigan, you will see every farm that there ever was. Ooh. Lots of corn, lots of wheat. But I won't be able to describe any of the machinery because, I'm still in the learning process just like you. So I'll actually shoot downward and go over to I'm not going to say your username, Lynn. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Adam. And I'm also a lover of farms. And my home state of Maryland, we have a lot of agriculture still, despite being a suburb of Washington, D.C. And we actually have an agricultural history farm park in my home Montgomery County. I am the partnerships coordinator and Adam's colleague at the U.S. Department of State, where I work in the Bureau of Educational Cultural Affairs and the Office of American Spaces. And I hope some of you from the American Spaces Network are joining our stream today. And I'm going to spin the wheel and point over to my friend Cleverlike.
Oh, I was hoping she would pull my number.
I understand you're all just saving me for later. It's fine.
Yeah. The best for last. That's why you're not quite last, but you're close to the end. Hey, everybody, I'm Cleverlike. And you know what? Couple of interesting things. Kathy, I actually saw a train carrying turbine parts, the blades from them, along in Colorado here. It was absolutely amazing because they put one end on one car and then the other car is way back here and the other end is on it. So it's got this pivot so that it can go around turns and stuff. It was amazing to see those huge parts laying on the train right in front of me. It was awesome. And another thing, road trip going past farms, I was so confused when they had all these labeled fields and one of them was called Timothy, and I thought, oh, how cute, they called this one Timothy, and I'm like, why does this one have a name and everything else is the actual food? But Timothy is a kind of premium hay that they grow. So I didn't know that.
I would have thought the same thing you did.
Yeah, I would have thought that was the kid's name.
It must be the farmer's kid. They probably did that to make Timothy feel good about taking on the next generation of farming. But no, Timothy is a type of crop, which is an interesting learning experience. But anyway, I'm Cleverlike. I got interested in computers as a little kid, and it took me through a whole career of computers and stuff like that. And now back to being a little kid again. So I make video game experiences that help kids learn about experiences they wouldn't normally be able to access and the fun of their favorite video game. And so our good friend Eric, not last, almost though.
But eventually.
One of these days you'll be last.
One of these days.
Yeah.
So, hi, I'm Eric. I am a STEM and computer science instructional facilitator for Broward County Public Schools. I'm a global Minecraft mentor. I am a million other things that I don't have time to list. Kathy loves farms. I love food. So it's kind of hard to have one without the other. And where I get fascinated isn't so much with like, wow, look how that machinery works, or, oh, I didn't know that was that, where they grew that. It's seeing how things grew that I had no idea that's how they grew. Like Brussels sprouts. I had no idea how Brussels sprouts grew. When I saw that the first time, my head exploded. And then my head exploded even more when I saw where cashews came from. And I will encourage our students to Google these things or look them up because, like, again, I had no idea. And then sure enough, there's a tree down the street from my house in the neighbor's yard that grows cashew fruit. And I didn't even know cashew fruit was a thing. And I also didn't know that we got the nut because that was the part they didn't want. But sure enough, there's a balance to all of it, I guess. But the first time I Googled and found out what that looked like, yeah, I was blown away. So learning that kind of stuff always fascinates me. It's amazing what we don't know or what we think we know. And then we see it in real life and we're like, not even close, not even close.
No way.
So with that, Claire, I'm going to pass it back to you so we can do a formal introduction of our guest and then get things rolling today.
Sure. Thank you, Anastasia. We're so glad to have you here. And I know you have a long list of credentials. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. So I'm Anastasia Bodnar. I work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture for the U.S. government. And my role is to help coordinate our biotechnology activities all the way from research through regulation, commercialization, and international trade. So all of those pieces are connected in the way that our food system is connected. And boy, I love farming. I love food. I grew up in Florida, though, and I wasn't really anywhere near like what people think of as a farm. But I grew up in an area where there were still orange groves. Now there's not as many, and it's kind of sad. But I remember, going past areas and just smelling the orange blossoms and the orange is ripening. And there's also a big thing in Florida called the Strawberry Festival every year, which really, even if you don't live in a rural area, everyone knows about the Strawberry Festival. So I love things that connect people who don't normally come into contact with farms with our agriculture systems. And my love for those kind of things has just grown over the years.
That's great. So I'm just curious, when you were a kid, did you aspire to work in this field and become an expert in farms since you didn't grow up around it? Or how did you end up in this area?
Yeah. So I always wanted to be a scientist from like as early as I can remember. My mom will tell people stories about how I would find like a chicken bone that I dug up and be like so excited about, like my discoveries that I brought home. I was always coming home with pockets full of rocks. And now my daughter is too, which I both find adorable and also somewhat annoying. Because I had to clean them out. But yeah, I always wanted to be a scientist. I didn't really get like that into agriculture until I started graduate school. So I went to grad school at Iowa State University, and you're just completely surrounded by farms there, all kinds of farms. There's not much else. But it's just so beautiful. And then understanding, how it works, all the way from the seed and all the other, inputs that go into agriculture, and then bringing it to your plate, to all the delicious varieties of food that can be made.
This to the crew that is on this stream right now, we all know how this works, but I'm thinking, let's just take a second and step back because we have kids watching this stream who don't really know, like, how do you get to go to graduate school? How does that work?
Oh, yeah, that's such a great question. I love it. So when I was in high school, I kind of knew I wanted to go to college, but honestly, I didn't really understand how it worked. So I totally get that question. Thankfully, I had a guidance counselor that was able to help. And so I started for undergraduate education. I was trying to get a degree in biology, but I actually totally failed out of school. Like I didn't know how to study very well and just totally flunked out the first time I tried college. So I took a break. I joined the Army and I grew up a little bit. And then I went back and I was better at school. And then, thankfully, while I was an undergrad the second time, I had some really excellent mentors at the University of Maryland that, said, we're glad you're getting your bachelor's, but you need to go get a PhD in science. And so they really encouraged me to seek out, schools that I could go to. And I ended up at Iowa State, in part because it was one of the few schools in the country where I could study genetics at a graduate level, plant genetics, and my husband wanted to do computer science. So there's really only a few schools in the country that are well known for both.
Awesome.
That's good. Thank you. Well, and you know what? I think that's encouraging to a lot of people because sometimes you don't make it on your first try at something. That's totally fine. Just
Totally
try
fine.
again.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's either
Move
schoolwork
on,
or
go back.
caterpillars or whatever. Like something will get in your way in life. You have to
Life's
overcome it.
journey. I started out majoring in pharmacy, actually, and actually the math was really a challenge for my social life. So I moved over into the social sciences and ended up getting a degree in Russian history. I got my master's in Russian history.
Wow, interesting. All right, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our content for today. Eric, I think that you were super excited by some of the submissions that you saw last week. We were chatting before. So do you want to give a quick overview of what preseason challenge number 3 is?
I do. And I want to stress that preseason challenge number 3 is actually still underway. You have through Friday, the 25th, to submit. So we always have a lot of teams submitting. Right now, there's just a handful, but we know that's because you're using this time to, polish things up and make them look good. So we've only got a few so far, but we figured since we're doing the stream and we've got a guest, we want to share at least one of them so they can see, so Anastasia can see what we do and what our students do. We're really more what you do than what we do. This particular challenge was about sustainability and biodiversity and how farmers must adapt both to the practices and the results of the changes that are taking place in ecosystems and environments. So we've got a really phenomenal submission all the way from Japan. So we've got a team Omusubi from Japan with their submission. So Claire, you've got the video. Let's throw that up on the screen.
Our team consider the importance of water circulation and coexistence with other organisms in agriculture. Let's take a look at the new world.
This field grows crops by seawater agriculture, so it leads to
Uh-oh. Let's try that again. Technical difficulties.
Oh, boo.
Oh, it's so good too.
And was working 5 minutes ago.
And it worked 5 minutes ago. We tested the whole thing. All right, well, let's carry on. And we will try to come back to this in a couple of minutes. Uh-oh, we lost Eric too. Maybe that's the issue, is Eric was having technology issues. What can you say? This is what happens in the world of the internet, right? Especially when we're connecting from everywhere all around the world. So in the meantime, let's go ahead. We'll jump into our Farmcraft world in just a minute when we get Eric back. But Anastasia, let's go ahead and talk about your path and your work. So you told us your job title, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what you actually do in your job?
Yeah. So what do I actually do? I guess one thing that is
most of us say that. When
I say that every day.
This is your review,
Don't
by the
ask
way.
me.
I have a lot of meetings now. No, I think one thing that I really love about my job is that I get to talk to so many different people about so many different things. So, I mentioned, the path of biotechnology all the way from research, through, production and international trade. There's just so many pieces. And so on any given day, I might be meeting with people, in the US government or, people who are working for companies that develop biotechnology products. I might be meeting with farmers or other producer groups. And then I also meet with international colleagues from around the world. And we're all working together to try to make sure that we have agricultural products that can meet all of our needs, right? We need to have enough food. We need to have healthy food. And we need to make all those products in ways that aren't going to harm the environment, or, at least minimize the harms that we do have. So, so I guess that's what I do is that when in my coordinating role, trying to help facilitate those conversations and bring people together to get all of that great work done. And I'm so glad I get to work with Adam all the time.
I think there are probably some days you might be a little bit, less happy about that. But
It's always a delight.
But what I want to say is I really like that you point out that, obviously we want to make enough food and we want to make sure it's healthy. But the piece that's really important is making sure that it's done in a sustainable way. And that's something that we've been talking about since, Farmcraft, the pre-season launched a little over a month ago, is farmers have a variety of challenges. And one of the biggest challenges is making sure that they make their food in a way so that they can do it year after year after year. That it's not just a one and done, that they don't use the land and then have to leave in 5 years. I think that's one of the things that we're really trying to talk about. So,
and we have to make sure that they can, do more sustainable methods in ways that aren't going to raise food prices really high too, because there's that aspect as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure. So let's go ahead. Eric is back. So we're happy to see that the internet is agreeing with us, at least for the time.
It wouldn't be live streaming without an occasional, tech blip. As one of my friends who is an avid streamer says, streaming is hard. So
exactly. So let's go ahead. We can jump into our Farmcraft world now, and then we can circle back at the end and talk about preseason challenge 3. So I'm going to go ahead.
Sounds good. I want to see if we can do that video again, but we'll save that to the end. So hopefully it won't freeze things up again. We'll get that working.
Perfect. All right.
Hey, look who it is.
There we are.
Yeah. So we've decided today we're going to jump back into, for one last time, I think.
Past.
That's right. We're jumping all the way back into our preseason 1 challenge world with our mayor. It's here with us. Hi, Clever.
Hello.
And we've got everyone with us today. Like, we don't normally have like almost everybody in the world with us, but we've got like a whole crew with us today. So, Anastasia, this is you, right? Because I'm sure the people who are watching don't know which screen name is you. Genetic Maze.
That's me.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Kathy is here, and Lynn is in here. I saw Adam. Oh, he's behind me. He's lurking right behind me. There he is.
If we met Anastasia in a random game, we'd think it was one of the randomly generated two separate random words put together, because we'd be like, genetic maze. What is that?
Only because the M is not capitalized.
But now we're like, wow, that completely makes sense. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we figured for 2 reasons we'll do this. One, Anastasia, we can take you through the world from last year. Again, some of this will still live on in version 2 without giving too much away. So we can see what changes are going to be made when we reveal the version 2 world, which is happening very, very soon. And also gives you an opportunity to take a look at what was in there and kind of tell us if this is how it actually works. Hint, hint, it probably isn't. But there's some accuracies there. So we want to talk about what's accurate and what's not, and how the gameplay kind of relates to what's really happening in the world, especially when it comes to the decisions that farmers have to make.
Yeah, and that's the most interesting part, right?
Right. I mean, all of this is around decision making, and we love giving the students the opportunity and seeing what decisions they make, and not only that, but how they kind of readdress their decision making process, playthrough after playthrough after playthrough, and say, no, wait, what we should have done was X, Y, or Z. So we have all the biomes from last season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think we decided on island biome for today, just because everyone wants a vacation. This is our spring break, so we're going to go to the island biome on our spring break and do some farming, because that's what everyone wants to do on their spring break, right? All the kids from college are running out to farm
I mean,
for spring break.
Some of us do.
That's true, right? The cool kids do.
Well, and Eric, I'm with you, because farming is connected to eating, and everybody does want to eat. So
right. One for you, 1, 2 for me. 1 for you.
Exactly.
All right, so we're gonna jump into the island biome. I like that it gives, again, we always kind of front loaded the kids with little clues as to what they might expect there. So soil isn't always the best in our island biome. There's definitely an insect issue in the island biome. So we're gonna have to adjust for those things. So let's jump in. We're gonna play this, and we're all about to get teleported. And we are all inside each other in a big
Oh,
heat.
that's creepy.
Yeah, right.
Stand
A little
on my
bit.
foot.
If you ever wondered what the inside of my head looked like, now you know.
Wow.
A lot of black space.
Yeah, very
I
empty.
knew it was coming. Well, that's why you're here to help fill it. So that's fine. You're gonna fill in some of the void.
Bare shelves.
That's right.
Ready to be filled.
So we're gonna make our way right over here to our farmer in his fantastic island wardrobe. Again, clearly here for spring break. And again, he's going to welcome us to our island. We live near the water. We get lots of rain too. The beach is a difficult place to grow plants, and the bugs love it here. All right. So we're going to make our way over to the farm now, right? Is that where we're going? It's been a bit since I played this one.
Where is the
Brian's
farm?
already way ahead of us.
Ah.
Brian
Well,
knows
he
where
does kind of have the
everything is.
inside story.
Maybe.
That's right. So while we're doing this, obviously we chose a biome, and we keep using that word biome. How does the genetic engineering of crops relate to various biomes? Right? And so what is a biome, and why are genetically engineered crops sort of a thing, or a concept that farmers need to be aware of and need to make decisions around when it comes to the particular biome or ecosystem in which they are farming?
So I guess I'll throw that question back at you. What do you mean by biome in Minecraft?
Oh, well, it gets weird in Minecraft. So some of them are totally normal. And I may pass this one to Kathy a little bit too. And then some of them we definitely didn't go into because they are definitely not normal human earth biomes, I guess is what you would call them in the game. But we're trying to reflect that in here. So Kathy, what are some biomes, we can go back and forth on this. What are some biomes that are in Minecraft that are real? And what are some ones that probably aren't?
All right. Well, there is the tundra biome. It's so funny. I'm like, which biomes? And I'm now trying to remember which ones are real and which ones are fake. And I'm thinking, I think that there's a forest biome and there's a plains biome in Minecraft. There's
grasslands.
There's a mushroom biome that.
Mushroom Island is probably not a real one.
The real one.
No, probably not.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the and reference.
That's right, but we've got open ocean, right? Warm ocean biome. I'm trying to think about other ones. There's the desert biome. There's now mountains and caves and cliffs, right?
There's marshy, that's similar to Florida, but it's not called marshy. I forgot what it's called.
Swamp, right? Or is that one not there yet? I can't remember if that one's in yet. But there is something similar. Yeah, a wetlands sort of biome. So yeah, there's tons of those, but they're kind of generic, right? So we say desert, for example, and I know that we all get an image in our head of desert, but in the real world,
many kinds of deserts.
So different kinds of deserts, right? So that's where the kids are coming from. If they've played Minecraft, that's their kind of knowledge of that.
I mean, I guess that's not terribly different from the scientific definition of biome, which kind of means habitat. It's a collection of plants and animals and the soil types and the weather, all of that together, what makes a unique biome, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's similar in Minecraft. These areas in the world have very distinct features and plants and temperatures and weather and things.
Certain things will only grow in certain types of soil or in certain places. So
So Anastasia, could that be a place where genetic engineering could come into play if something doesn't grow as well in one area? Or
yeah,
Can
definitely.
you describe that?
Sure. So there's lots of different. So genetic engineering is a method. It's just a tool that we can use along with all kinds of different methods that we use to breed plants and animals. So a lot of people are familiar with all the different kinds of dogs for example.
Mhm.
I know some of us have dogs at home. I know I saw, there you go. I see yours, Clever Like. Mine's around somewhere. So there's lots and lots of different kinds of dogs that people have bred for different reasons, right? So there's hunting dogs and herding dogs. There's dogs that are meant to be rat catchers or just to be family dogs, right? And so they're all bred with a specific purpose, but they can only have traits that are already there in, the family of dogs. So you can't get cat traits into a dog by breeding because cats and dogs don't breed, right? So it's just like that for farming. You can do all kinds of really cool things and create lots of different varieties in plants and farm animals through breeding, but there's limits on, what you can do based on what's already there existing in their gene pool. So with genetic engineering, we can expand our options a little bit. And one option that your players might be familiar with, just looking at this sign, if you have an insect problem, you have to do something about it on your farm, right? And so natural insect resistance is somewhat there in some types of crops, but our food crops are really tasty and are not that good at protecting themselves from insects. And if we wanted to make them protect themselves better using natural breeding methods, we'd probably make them not as tasty. So with genetic engineering, scientists have been able to take a gene from bacteria and put it into some of the food crops that we use, including corn and cotton, and help the plants protect themselves, basically. And what's really cool about it is that protein is bad for certain types of insects, but it's not bad for other animals or for people.
And it also leads to really good screen names.
So if I may just ask, so what you're saying is that there's something inside of the plants that kills the insects. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's a particular type of protein that is naturally found in soil bacteria.
Is
And
it the Bacillus thuringiensis? I can't say it.
Thuringiensis? Yeah.
Yes,
so so it's BT for short. Mm-hmm.
And so one advantage of this is we don't have to use insecticide sprays, right?
At least not for the pests that are affected by the BT. So it doesn't affect all insects, but yeah.
Okay. And this is the only kind of genetic engineering out there, right?
Oh, that is such a great question, Adam. I love it. So genetic engineering is a tool that can be used to bring in traits into the organism, the plant or animal or bacteria or fungus that you're interested in changing. So really, it depends on what traits you're trying to bring in. So the insect resistance is just one example. It's a common example that's already around in a lot of the crops that we use. Oh, tilling happened. That's exciting. Sorry.
I was trying to advance things a little bit so that we could actually get to the genetic engineering stage of all of this.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait.
That included having to till our soil a little bit here.
Oh yeah, please do. That's great. Although one of the cool things about some genetically engineered crops is that we are able to do less tilling. So really it's, if you can find a gene or a couple of genes that create a trait that you're interested in, then you can, potentially use genetic engineering to help your crop or animal or whatever get that trait. So scientists are working on drought tolerance, and insect resistance, heat tolerance, helping to make crops more resilient, in different types of biomes that are getting more uncertain with climate change. There's more floods, more intense storms, different temperatures, things like that. Oh, look at that.
Jump on in. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're taking it
press
left.
the right button. Press the right button on your mouse.
I'm like,
While you're looking at the
Look at the vehicle and right click. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I'm in.
Wait, let me. Let me get a screenshot
Anyone
of
else?
this. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Oh,
everybody.
Adam has to face forward.
I never
Looking
do
at
that.
the
Why?
Oh, sorry, I turned to the
hey,
vehicle. All right, hold on. We're turning back. We're turning back. We're turning back.
Don't make me turn this thing around.
Look, farming, not driving simulator. It's,
Okay, hold on. Stay there, everybody. Okay.
I'm smiling.
Oh, nice. All right, I got it. I got a good one.
Woo!
There it is.
One of these days I'll get a job doing this.
All right,
Okay.
so shall we head to the lab?
Let's go to the lab.
Let's go to the lab. We
Sounds
can't fit
like a
everyone in the
stairs.
vehicle, though.
Sounds like a swarm of
Upstairs.
bees.
It does. This is bee powered. This entire vehicle
Yeah,
bee
it's
powered.
no combustion. It's energy efficient.
We
power.
tried hamsters on wheels the first time. It was
Yeah,
not
it was-
successful.
Yeah, it
so.
got smelly real quick too. So
So
Sorry, but
Anastasia, we had a question in the chat, and it's from Gerald, who's the executive director of NASEF, and he brings up a good point, and that is genetic engineering sometimes has a bad rap. Why is that, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Oh man, that. I could talk about that a lot. So I'll try to keep it brief. Honestly, I think part of it is just that. So I described how genetic engineering can be used to bring in a trait in a way that couldn't have gotten there through breeding, and I think that can be concerning for some people. A lot of people have a sense of nature, like knowing best or, things like that, which to a degree, makes sense. But we can also develop things that are not natural, like vaccines and, computers, and, things like that. And so, I think that naturalness idea is especially challenging when it comes to food, though. We like to imagine that, like, the picture on the milk carton is true, that like the cows are in a beautiful place and it's sunny all the time with like green grass, and like, yeah, sure, cows get that, it to some degree in some places, but that's not how farming is for everything. So I think it's just those misconceptions about agriculture generally, and wanting to think that things are a lot cleaner and less messy than they really are.
Well, a quick question, Anastasia. Have dairy cows always looked like dairy cows?
Oh yeah, so a lot of cows and pigs and all of our agricultural animals, yeah, and all of our plants too, in nature looked pretty different. They were adapted for the environment that they lived in, and not necessarily for producing a lot of lean muscle that we want to eat. Or plants were adapted for surviving in their environment and producing enough seeds to make the next generation. They don't care if it's a big, beautiful, juicy ear of corn. It's just enough to get by. That's nature. So yeah, very, very few things in nature look like what they look like at the grocery store once, they've gone through, hundreds of years of humans' involvement.
Eric, can I ask you another question? I know I'm asking a lot. Can I
No,
talk
go for
about seeds? Can I buy some seeds? I want to buy some insect resistance.
We can buy some seeds.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
in our farm world, you said, it takes generations and generations for these things to happen. We can pretty much purchase these things on demand. So in this lab, there are 4 stations that we can purchase from. One, we can purchase herbicide tolerance, drought tolerance, improved soil health, and insect resistance.
And I bought some of that.
You did already. So is this how it works, right? This is how genetic engineering works. You just go into the shop, you tell them what genes you want, they throw them. Wait, I want to show you the machine. So we're going to go over to the machine here.
Oh, where's the machine? Hold on, Lee.
So it's right here in this window.
Oh, this thing. Oh, I was
right. That is our Seedatron.
Come on, you recognize
so Adam,
That's exactly what we have in every lab, right?
Right. Which traits did you choose?
I just bought insect resistance. If you want to buy other ones,
because that is the biggest problem that's mentioned in the island biome. So I think that's good. All right, so let's buy our insect resistant seeds. Let's get them made for us.
I think this is where most of
look at the
Brian's
DNA.
time went.
Yeah, this is our favorite. But this is totally how it works, right?
This is adorable.
Yeah, we used the reference image. My artist was like, "You have a reference image?" I'm like, "No, this just doesn't exist. You're inventing something completely new. Be creative."
Wait, this is not
Delivered.
CRISPR? CRISPR doesn't look like that?
He totally delivered.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
He totally delivered. I agree with you there.
it's great, and it makes beeping noises, which
It does
I
make
mean,
beeping noises,
you
which our
gotta
audience
have it.
can't hear, but when they play the game, they'll hear it. I'm going to give everyone some seeds. So here, you get some seeds. We all bought some
Nice.
seeds.
How do I get them?
Oh, just walk over
You're
them.
you already got them. Kathy, there's some seeds for you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
you
24
get
seeds
some
for me.
seeds, and you get some seeds.
Everybody gets.
Clever,
Adam
like-
wants more seeds. Adam wants more seeds.
Yes.
Clever, like we have people
Wait,
asking for blueprints for the Seedtron so they can put one in their own
Look at
garden.
You knew that was coming.
Ooh, that could be a bonus. That could be a
We
bonus.
give away just trade secrets like that, right?
Right.
All right, we're gonna make our way back to the vehicle and make our way back to the farm so we can plant our genetically engineered seeds that are now insect resistant.
We'll have to
Okay.
do a
Right.
Farmcraft add-on that you can add the Seedtron to your vanilla world, and it'll spit out whatever
So-
seeds you want.
So
do
clearly,
have
this
to
is not
say-
exactly how the process works. So how does the process exactly work? At least in a
Oh.
brief kind of comparison.
And I lost
Anastasia,
Anastasia, we're
it.
leaving you
still-
behind.
Anastasia's
Wait.
still up there.
She's
I
coming.
was
She'll
I
get
was
teleported.
distracted by all the friendly scientists, which I just love. They're so like friendly looking.
They've got a lot of good information too, but
Yeah, so that I say would be accurate. You know, the friendly scientists with lots of information. But no, I mean it's not like worlds away from reality. So, one of the methods that's used to create genetically engineered plants is through something that's called a gene gun. So it's actually it's so wild. You're going to be like, what, when I explain it. So scientists will take particles of DNA that they want to use for genetic engineering.
Okay, pause. Where do they get particles of DNA?
Yeah, so they'll synthesize it. They'll use a machine that doesn't look that different from the Whirring DNA machine, I guess. And tell it what sequence they want to use, and they've most of the sequences that are used are from some natural source, like the example of the BT. It's from a soil bacteria, and so they'll use the sequence for the gene that they're interested in, and coat it with gold. Like a tiny amount of gold.
So you're saying it's expensive.
I'm learning so much right now.
And then
Like,
it has a
okay.
logo. It's got a
Really?
logo they add to it. And
And
everything.
then, I know, so you
the
can't really
name brand.
see it, but yeah, so the DNA gets coated
Anastasia,
with
plant seeds.
tiny. I planted a little. It's really hard to talk and do stuff.
And,
You get better at it over time.
Doing my best. So it gets coated with a little bit of gold, and then they use what's effectively a gun type mechanism to zoom the bits of DNA into a cell, and then the DNA hits the organism's genome and gets incorporated, and that's how you used to make a GMO.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why
or
gold?
one of the methods. I guess it has to be like, you have to make it heavier so that it could get into the cell. So I guess that's the method that was used.
That's
Um,
wild. I'm picturing that Martian.
Well,
Earthling.
but let's also
But-
remember that another way that they do it is they actually use a soil bacterium that actually helps
Yeah.
transfer the DNA too. That's
That's
used
right.
a lot.
That's right. I was just about to say that. So we actually use a lot of natural tools. That's one thing that I always love is not, scientists do a lot of cool stuff, but for the most part, we're really like finding things that are cool and using them. So the gene gun is one method, but another one is using a soil bacteria called agrobacterium. That the way that it reproduces in nature is that it basically puts some of its genes into a plant and tells the plant, make me a house. And the plant responds by, turning on those genes and making a house for the bacteria. It makes kind of like a lumpy thing called a callus that is a place for the bacteria to live, basically. And so what scientists did is they took out those, make me a house instructions from the bacteria, and we can put in whatever we want to have the bacteria put into the plant's genome. So we're just using that as the tool. And that's actually a bit more elegant than the gene gun way, as you can imagine. But now we've got some tools that are even cooler, and again, that are also based in nature. So look at the butterflies.
Oh,
Where there's butterflies, there's caterpillars.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We like one life stage, but maybe not the others.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. You find some gross caterpillars in your garden and you're like, do you leave them? Because they're going to turn into butterflies, but you don't want them eating your stuff either.
Right.
But the one method that's, really come into play in the past, how many years? Like 10, right, Adam? Maybe?
which one?
Like CRISPR?
Oh, well, but that's not introducing. I mean, you still have to use agrobacterium to bring it in.
That's true. So all of these tools can be combined in different ways, but so using natural enzymes, which are kind of like scissors or cut and paste mechanisms for DNA. You can use those enzymes, and people may have heard of the word CRISPR to help get the piece of DNA into the genome in exactly the spot that you want. So it adds like this level of precision that we don't have with agrobacterium alone.
I'm still getting over the gold thing.
Right.
I don't think that people actually use it that much anymore, but it's pretty cool.
It depends on what they're trying to get into, because some plants are harder than others to
That's true.
to manipulate the DNA. Yeah.
Every plant species has like its own difficulties.
So Anastasia, then in different countries, might different crops be genetically engineered because there are different environmental factors in different places?
Yeah, I would say that even more than that, the types of plants that people grow are different in different countries, like the staple crops. So, in the US, we grow a lot of corn and soybeans. And because those are really good crops, they grow fast and they produce a lot. Those are grown all over the world. But as far as like actual food production, different people will eat like potatoes or cassava, rice, the main starches and other main foods that people eat are different, right? Depending on where you are. And so scientists in all different countries are working on ways to improve those crops that are important for their agriculture. And also looking at the specific traits that are important for the environmental challenges and other challenges that they might face in their country.
So I don't know if we have too much more time to talk about these things. And what I'd really like to know, Anastasia, is what are some traits other than the ones you've described already, like insect resistance and drought tolerance? What are some ones that you think are really neat, or are ones that you're hoping will be happening soon? What's got you excited in the world of genetic engineering?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool things. I was going to get that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I saw that.
I
caught that
Who
on
knew there would
camera.
be a game where we would fight over who got to pick the weeds out of the field? Because I can't convince anyone to do that around here, including myself. So.
They're so cool. So I'll say one thing that I would really like to see. I'm actually not sure if anybody's working on it yet, but I would really like to see avocados that don't brown as easily, or that will last longer, because it always seems like I'll buy some and they are too hard to eat, and then all of a sudden they're gross.
There is a hack, though. Did you see that?
Is it the lemon juice hack?
No, on TikTok, I think if you submerge them in water, supposedly they will.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You get
No,
the
well-
bacteria going or what?
Yeah, because bacteria will get into the place where the avocado connects back to the tree, like the stem, hole.
Oh no! Once they're picked.
And
That's what she means.
That's
Yeah,
what
like
she
Yeah.
meant.
where the stem was. So if you want to know my hack, is wait till they're just almost like just starting to soften, and then put them in the fridge, and they'll stay perfectly soft for a good several days.
I have a hard time
That's
catching
what I
them.
do.
But-
My
you
hack
gotta eat
is
the whole thing pretty much.
eat the
though.
whole avocado and be
Yeah.
done with it, and then you don't have to worry about the browning part.
That's
Um,
true. But yeah, so I mean, I think there's a lot of cool things, cool traits that you could use to help reduce food waste.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of you have looked up numbers on how much food we waste, but it's like really shocking. You know, all the way from harvest to you know, food getting wasted all along the production process, and then you know how much food people waste in their homes. So genetic engineering can be used to, you know, help increase the longevity. I just saw something about lettuce, about like a non-browning
really?
lettuce. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I would love that. I buy lots of produce and I'm like, I'm gonna have a salad, and then like I don't, and then I'm sad when it goes brown.
No lettuce, no avocados.
Let me ask you this question and try and tie some conversations we've had together. So there was one conversation we had on an earlier stream about food waste, very specifically, but
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to the attractiveness of the produce, that people want to buy ones that look a certain way, whether it's their color or their size, their shape, etc. And then the ones that are a little bit more awkward in, let's say, size, shape, or color, don't get purchased, and sometimes don't even make it to the shelf because the seller knows it wouldn't be purchased. So is genetic engineering being utilized to kind of ensure that there's more precision in that, so that less of that ends up going to waste?
Yeah, I think a lot of the solutions to food waste are, you know, other types of technologies, right? Or like finding uses for those ugly produce, like turning it into juice or other stuff. But at the same time, yeah, there's definitely opportunities to be made in making food that is more attractive and makes people more likely to actually eat it. There's one that has been in the news lately, purple tomatoes. Has anybody heard about those?
No.
I have not.
So they produce just like a pigment called anthocyanin, but it's actually an antioxidant. So it might have some health benefits, but I think the most important health benefit is, who doesn't want to eat a purple tomato? So, you know, if it makes us eat more produce, then that reduces food waste and, you know, helps people to get that great nutrition, especially if it's something that's more interesting to kids. My daughter's not really into tomatoes, but I bet she would try a purple one. So
Are anthocyanins the same thing that make blueberries blue? Because everyone talks about how antioxidant rich blueberries are.
that's right. Yeah. So a lot of the pigments are, you know, like the same pigments throughout the plant kingdom. Oh, I just hit the crop.
Yup.
Yeah.
Are you
Sorry.
breaking our produce?
I did. I totally punched the crop.
I
meant to
will
get a
tell
weed.
you another thing is be careful where you run and or jump.
No,
Oh,
I was about
yeah.
to tell her that she should run through to get to the bugs faster.
Whoops. Okay. Well, now I know. I got to be
Brian,
more
are we
gentle
never
with
going to
my
get
crops.
bugs? We've had 3 days of weeds.
I know. I'm
Should be
looking at
one
the- I'm
one
looking at
day
the
away,
crop
I
page.
think.
Aren't these genetically engineered to be insect resistant though? So there
Yeah,
should
I
be
wanted to
less
see it
bugs.
happen.
That should be coming. But wait, if I'm not mistaken, you went a little authentic with that. Something has to happen for it to deter them.
Well, why don't, while we wait for for that insect day, do you want to show the submission? Because we are running a
good
little low on
plan.
time.
Good idea.
plan.
So
Gosh, time is flying.
All right.
That is so much fun.
I'm
hopefully
going
my things
to-
won't freeze up this time. You know, technology
Alright.
can be fun.
I'm going to take this one away. Everybody cross your fingers.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
And
crossed.
let's see here.
Our team considers the importance of water circulation and coexistence with other organisms in agriculture. Let's take a look at the new world.
This field grows crops by seawater agriculture, so it leads to water pollution to return to seawater, used as agricultural water to the sea. So this machine can clean the agricultural water and return it to the sea, even if the seawater is polluted by air pollution or acid rain. This machine can produce seawater suitable for agricultural water. You can circulate clean seawater with this machine.
This period uses companion plants to grow crops. By planting flowers nearby, you can bring in insects other than pests and keep them away. In addition, you can keep it away from the odor that pests are not good at. Furthermore, by planting crops that are comparable with each other, you can take measures against pests, grow better and taste better. For soil, the amount of pesticides and chemical fluoride source used can be reduced and the ecosystem in the soil can be maintained. As this farm is also a beekeeper and bees help pollinate crops. By becoming a beekeeper, you can coexist with bees.
Here we are farming using the icon farm in NASEF. Icon is a breed of dog that is a special mating of moras and dogs. By stepping on soil, the icon plays the role of blowing more varieties or pests and weeds. Also, dog dropping can be used as soil fertilizer. Growing rice with this farming method makes it more resistant to typhoon and extreme weather. After harvesting the crops, we eat these ducks to maintain the ecosystem. Through this action, we will learn the value of life.
Wow.
That was
It's just
awesome.
beautiful.
I love
Yeah.
that. I am
The kids
just
always
amazed
impressed.
every
Always
time
impressed.
at how much the kids are picking up and how the depth of the information that they have.
And
That's
we keep getting that
fantastic.
information from all over the globe. And I loved this one because they shared some practices specifically around, I guess, chicken breeding and chicken farming that I was not familiar with that are specific to their region.
So cool.
That's fantastic. So, Eric, this is a submission for preseason challenge number 3, which we mentioned at the beginning. That is still open.
It's still open.
Do you want to, let's see, are we going to look at one last thing in our Farmcraft world, or do we want to hop over and...
I know Adam wanted to pop in
Share
for a
the
second because the caterpillars are here and
You
are
asked,
absolutely
Adam.
ravaging our farm.
You asked for it. So the interesting thing here is that these caterpillars have been genetically engineered, or these crops have been
I was
genetically
going to say,
engineered.
don't
for
do
pest-
that.
Yeah, no, we
for
don't
pest
want
resistance.
giant
maybe
mutant
that's a
caterpillars, I
strategy.
guess.
Don't they do that with mosquitoes?
They do.
So the idea here is that the plant has something that will kill the caterpillar, but the caterpillar has to eat the plant first. So in this case, what will happen is the caterpillar will eat and then disappear, but you will lose the crop that they ate before they get a sick belly and go away. So you only lose one crop attack basically from the caterpillars rather than them running wild. If you don't do the GE, they'll just continue going through your entire crops until you get rid of them.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh,
It is rough in these farms.
sounds like a little dose of
Not
real
easy.
life.
Yeah.
That's right.
Rough on real farms too. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to deal with it.
It's the real
I'll tell you
deal.
what, Claire, we can let everyone keep playing for a little bit and I'll throw up the website on the
Okay.
screen and we can go from there. So let me see if I can get that going for everyone. There we are. And yeah, it's not too late to enter Challenge 3. It's not too late, of course, to enter the entire Farmcraft competition because regular season has not started yet. And even when it does start, it's still not too late to jump in. So if you go to nasef.org, we click on the Learning tab and we scroll down to NASEF Farmcraft 2022. You can see all sorts of things. Of course, register your team if you haven't already. There is a lesson guide for preseason Challenge 3, which is going on right now. And that can be submitted at the Flipgrid that is on that same page. Just have to scroll down to do that. And if you're not sure how to submit for this Flipgrid or you want to hear more about preseason Challenge 3, I highly recommend going to the YouTube page, which, by the way, is also linked here. But the videos are also directly below. So you can see all of the challenges, and here's challenge 3. I highly recommend watching that if you're just going to get started in challenge 3 right now, because it's not too late. And you'll see how to submit to Flipgrid right in that video. And we've had some other great guests, so go check out the great guests if you haven't watched those videos yet.
Perfect. I love that it's also easy to access on the same page, so you don't have to go hopping over to different platforms and everything. Whether
That's right, one-stop shop
for submitting, it's all right there. So just head straight to that page, and I dropped a link into the chat, so it's easy for you to do there. And we are back in the Farmcraft world.
You know, I was going to say, all I did was leave and share a website, and I came back and like half our crops are gone.
This is
I'm
where
not
you
saying
think
I was
maybe
the one
need
to hold it
friends.
together. I'm just saying we've got a clear bug problem.
Isn't that a book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar?
We've got several it's cute when it's one.
Yes.
Maybe not so cute when there are hundreds ravaging your crops.
Exactly. And I think that's a good point, right? People may think, oh, why do we need to have these genetically modified crops? Well, you're dealing with a lot of different issues, not just one cute little caterpillar that you can pluck off by hand.
Let me ask you this too. You know, in this game world, the caterpillar eats that one crop. That one crop dies, let's say, and then at least it doesn't live on to eat more crops. But if we use these techniques, the genetic engineering techniques, and we make a plant insect resistant in this way, does it even have time to eat the one whole plant? Like, would it even destroy that single crop?
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually. So they they'll nibble part of a root for some of the varieties where it's a rootworm resistant, or they'll nibble part of the leaf, and that's enough for them to get a dose that will be harmful to that particular insect. So insect resistant crops are actually really effective. I've seen some really cool side by sides of the insect resistant and non-insect resistant crops. And a field will be totally decimated. It'll look kind of like this one that we've got here, where half the farm is missing. And the one that's genetically engineered next to it is still there, producing with great yields. It's really amazing to see.
Awesome. This looks great. Well, I think we are going to wrap up today's live stream. Eric, would you mind hopping back over to the website real quick? And let's also just remind people, we do have one other Minecraft event that is going on right now still, and that is the Junior Solar Sprint. Anastasia mentioned at the beginning that she was in the Army for a bit, and this is actually something that we do in conjunction with the U.S. Army Educational Outreach Program. And it is a challenge to build a solar vehicle in another awesome custom Minecraft world that Clever Like and his team have created. I love the racetrack. So cool. So all those details are available on the NASEF website as well. These are both open. So you have all kinds of things you can get creative with: racing cars, farming, agriculture, climate change. We're covering all kinds of different things in the Minecraft worlds. So what is the date of our next stream? Because it's going to be an exciting one.
It is, if I'm not mistaken,
next
1 week.
Wednesday.
Yeah, 1 week from today.
That's right. 1 week from today, we will actually be launching the new world. I'm pretty sure that Clever Like and his team have some new tricks for us to see. Some fun.
I did get a sneak peek. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there.
Awesome. We can't wait for it.
It's a different, instead of one, you have to last through several seasons of crops in a new form in a new form of gameplay, and you get to make environmental decisions that you have to live with immediately. So if you make bad decisions, you will have to live with a destroyed climate because of your decision, rather than passing it on to the next generation. So you will lose all your crops if you make bad environmental decisions while you're going through your seasons.
All right. So we will see everyone next week. Same time, same stations. Don't forget, if you don't have a chance to watch this live, we do have all those videos available on the nasef.org Farmcraft page. And registration is still open for preseason and for the regular season. So make sure that you register, and we will see you all next Wednesday.
Great.
Thanks for joining
so much.
us.
Bye. Thanks, Anastasia.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks,
Thank you,
Anastasia.
Anastasia.
And bye from the dogs.
Perfect timing.